Thanks for watching miasnewpairofglasses.com and welcome to part 16, Selling Your Soul, Punishment, in the Masters and Controllers series. The entry cost for selling your soul at every level is a high price, but the many things required of you do not stop there. They are continued throughout your entire life. It's important to note that not everything that happens is done by the top-level controllers. A CEO doesn't know about everything that happens within his company and all the actions of his management. A general in the army doesn't know about all the hazing and mistreatment among those in his army. These sick things happen within the low to mid-level structure of the pyramid. We will discuss this when we touch on the different levels of the pyramid and motivations of each level.
If you in the ATL and a nigga doing drugs in the ATL, the nigga at least excuse himself, go to the bathroom or some shit. Niggas in Hollywood just do the drugs right in front of you and act like ain't shit happened. You in the middle of a goddamn meeting. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the movie with you, and then we're gonna go back. Nigga, did you know that I can see you? Nigga, you right there. It's on your nose, nigga.
The culture that is created by the system that exists in the low to mid-level of the pyramid is by far a healthy one. The ones involved in making people do these crazy things, the ones in these back rooms of these private parties, are people that have had to do those things themselves to get in. It's about executing power over others, the same way someone has taken power over them. When you have a bunch of people who have had to do horrid things year after year, it has an effect on those people and creates an even sicker environment. These are the people who are in those circles. Since the demands never end, and you never know what powerful person is going to demand you to do something you are not willing to do, we often have puppets fall from grace. They have thousands of ways they can make your life miserable, destroy you, or take what you have. It's easy when you have everyone in your pocket: the police, the news, FBI, CIA, and other powerful organizations at your disposal.
Officers handcuffed, detained, and questioned Williams along with several other people.
Williams' recent arrest. Coweta County Police arrested Williams last month at an estate where he was staying while shooting a movie. He faces burglary and criminal trespassing charges. He's accused of stealing $3,500 in coins and jewelry. Williams says the accusations are false.
On tape in a video going viral, comedian Cat Williams allegedly punching a Woodland Target employee. Tonight, that worker is telling his story only on CBS 13.
Caught up with Williams as he was ejected from a South Lake Union hotel around 7 p.m. On Sunday, Williams was arrested after an altercation at a nearby restaurant. Police say he argued with customers and threatened the manager with a pool cue. Williams is accused of then throwing a lit cigarette into a family's car, which hit a woman in the face, throwing a rock at that car, and struggling with police officers.
This is a witch hunt. It's getting to the point now I'm feeling persecuted. I'm saying this don't make no sense. You can't keep acting like I'm a troublemaker.
It's easy when you have a population of people that are taught to trust authority, to get people in these organizations to lie or do things just by telling them some horrible things about the puppet in question. It's easy to get someone to participate in setting someone up and making a false testimony when they can always find someone who will do anything for money, an opportunity, or something else they want. There are many ways they can hold you to your contract and obligations, or have you destroyed. They can accuse you of some crime, have the authorities set you up, or pay people to make false accusations about you. People remember the accusations, not the charges you may have been cleared from. They can smear your reputation by catching you in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then twist the event to make you seem guilty of something. Why do you think these people are followed by the paparazzi everywhere they go? They can also control you by threatening to do something to your loved ones, or somehow destroy their lives, harm them and or you, and in severe cases, threaten to kill your loved ones. Katt Williams was very outspoken about the politics in comedy and acting. He had commented about male actors having to wear dresses on screen, which we will go into later. Whether he said too much, refused demands made of him, or somehow royally pissed off the controllers, he stepped out of line, and then the full weight of what the controllers can do came down on him. He soon after decided to get back in line.
You're retired from comedy in 2012, and now you're back. Why and why?
To come back, it means you went somewhere. And you either went somewhere because your fan base said, have a seat, or yourself or some entity had you take a seat.
You know, you had that, like, I looked at everything. And it's interesting because, no.
Me too.
Yeah. I saw this period between November 2012 and January 2013.
Yeah.
Lot of cat activity. And then it was like cool again. What happened in that period?
Well, it doesn't matter what type of driver you are and how well you've driven this car for the last 6 hours. If you take your eyes off the road for 1 second, that pole is going to negate all the rest of your beautiful driving.
Once a puppet hits a certain level, you will see quick, drastic changes occur. Russell Wilson, who is a quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks for American football, was so happy once he signed his second contract that made him the highest paid quarterback in the league at the time. However, shortly after, he was forced to leave his happy marriage with his college sweetheart and throw the game by intentionally throwing the interception on the 1-yard line in the Super Bowl, and quickly forced to marry the famous singer Ciara. Selling your soul means you don't even get to choose your girlfriend or wife. Every couple is arranged, just like everything in your world is scripted. Everything. The reason I drilled down on the media being an arm of the controllers is because you will only see the truth if you know what they are and what drives what is being publicized. The controllers own the media, therefore what appears in the media is purposely there for a reason. Before you are quick to believe the stories the media tells about these people, remember who controls the media. When you control the media, you control what the world believes. When you see someone get slammed in the media and publicly destroyed, that is someone who failed to do what was asked of them. There are endless examples of how people who have sold their souls have been destroyed by what the media reports.
The second complaint came as the mixed martial arts star waited to see whether prosecutors would charge him in another case. Conor McGregor, one of the biggest stars of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, is being investigated over a sexual assault allegation, the second such case in less than 12 months, according to people familiar with the matter. The most recent allegation relates to a complaint that a woman in her 20s was sexually assaulted in a vehicle parked outside a Dublin pub last week, according to the people, who spoke on condition of anonymity because of Irish laws surrounding investigations. McGregor, a 31-year-old mixed martial arts fighter who is one of the world's highest-paid athletes, has not been charged, and police have yet to interview him about the allegation. He was already waiting to hear whether he would be charged following a complaint that he assaulted a woman in Dublin last December.
Probably one of the most perfect recent examples of this is to use Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was responsible for rocketing UFC fighting into the major moneymaker that it is today. His charisma, outspoken and harshly blunt attitude, and entertaining personality drew in the viewers that it has today. Conor McGregor fights are the highest grossing fights by far. With someone like that, for the mid-level controllers, the money is the value. But to the top-level controllers, it is about the entertainment value, the time and energy that distracts the public from paying attention to their world and what is coming. That is the main goal. Conor had signed a 6-fight contract, of which he had only fought one with Khabib before he announced his retirement for the second time on March 26th of 2019, right after his fight with Khabib. The fight he threw, but that is another story. The guy just wants to retire. He really thought the controllers were going to let him out. But you don't get to get out. In April of 2019, right after he announced his retirement, he faced his first charge of sexual assault. In October of 2019, Conor faced his second sexual assault charge. Coincidence? Nope. In November of 2019, Conor suddenly announces he is coming out of retirement and will fight in January of 2020. Look at his face. Does he look like someone that is happy about being forced out of retirement? Now the rogue sheep is back on track and back in the pen. Another main reason they publicize these attacks and accusations is to send a message to all the others who may think of ducking out of their contract and obligations. By publicizing when they destroy someone, they're letting all the other puppets know what happens when you cross the controllers. It doesn't matter how big you think you are, they will take you down if you step out of line. Comedian Bill Cosby was a legend. He was known all over the world as America's favorite TV dad and a successful comedian. This is another great example of someone destroyed, and by a 14-year-old event that he was charged with. Bill Cosby, now 81 years old, was charged and found guilty by a Pennsylvania jury of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault for allegedly drugging and sexually violating a woman 14 years ago on a couch in his Cheltenham, Pennsylvania home. He has been sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. If he really did do this, don't you think the quote victims would have come forward years ago to cash in when he was in his prime, making tons of money?
Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. is being charged with groping a woman in a bar in New York City. Now, he has pleaded not guilty, but now we're seeing video of the incident, which is central to the case. CNN's Chloe Milas joins us now. Chloe, what does this video show?
Yeah, so this video is from TMZ. They obtained surveillance footage from the Magic Hour rooftop bar here in New York City. And in the back corner, you see Cuba Gooding Jr. sitting next to his girlfriend. I don't think many people realize is that he's in a relationship with a woman named Claudine De Niro. And next to them is a woman who his team tells me last night is a fan that approached Cuba and Claudine. And you see like another man walk up to them. In the video, it's up to interpretation. You do see Cuba Gooding Jr. reach over to the woman, but it's unclear whether or not he actually did grope her. Did he actually touch her breasts? This is what this woman is alleging. She then called 911 shortly after. This was around 10 p.m. And then she filed this police report claiming that he groped her against her will. But obviously he's denying any sort of wrongdoing.
Cuba Gooding Jr. was initially accused of sexual assault by a fan who he allegedly touched on the breast in a bar, right beside his girlfriend, by the way. A supposed tape of the event, captured by a surveillance camera that came from TMZ, was played non-stop on the news. But what was not told was that this tape was never confirmed by the NYPD as the actual event. And there was no confirmation that this was even him on the tape. Nevertheless, the accusation was out there. This was initially a slap on the hand, with no real evidence, and it looked like he would be exonerated due to witnesses' testimony that the woman was actually stalking him. However, later, he was hit with another charge of sexual misconduct from another, quote, victim, and the case was headed for the Supreme Court. Most likely, he was warned for stepping out of line with the initial charge and was given time to fulfill a demand or rectify a situation, and when he didn't comply, he was then hit with the second publicized charge.
All new this half hour. Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. indicted on new charges. Gooding was previously accused of groping a woman at a rooftop bar in Midtown back in June.
And now the NYPD says it is investigating several other sexual assault complaints. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Nelson has a story.
Well, of course, this case made big headlines back in June, and the Star was back in criminal court here this morning, where prosecutors have now added a new twist to this case. The 51-year-old Jerry Maguire star, Cuba Gooding Jr., found himself back in criminal court this morning as his case continues, stemming from a June incident in which he's accused of grabbing a woman's breast at a Midtown rooftop bar near Times Square. Charges the actor has strongly denied since the beginning. He has already pleaded not guilty to forcible touching and other sexual abuse charges, and also believes surveillance video from the bar that night clears him of any wrongdoing. However, a judge refused to throw out the case just a few weeks ago. And then today, prosecutors made a surprising announcement that a grand jury has indicted the actor in another previously uncharged incident, and that he will be arraigned on that matter Tuesday, October 15th, and not in criminal court, but rather in Supreme Court.
This is an example of a perp walk. It's when the press is lined up prior, ready for the perp to walk out so everyone can catch it on film. There are back doors that can be used, but they take the person out the long way, out in front of the press, to make sure it is publicized. They do this with all cases they want to be public. Timothy McVeigh, the Unabomber, O.J. Simpson. The other reason they use these opportunities of smearing a puppet is to get people to focus on these cases, to argue about it, watch coverage of it, anything to absorb people's time and attention and keep it away from what they don't want you thinking about. Whether these people really did do the things they are accused of, or whether they were just accused of it, we will never really know. If they did do it, they could have been forced to, or most likely they were set up. The controllers make it true when they own the narrative. The main point is not whether they did it or not. It's that if they did do something and they weren't being punished, no one would hear about it. But regardless of whether they did it or not, when you hear about it on every single news outlet over and over again, that is being done to take the person down.
There's nobody more unluckier than Connor McStupid. Look, man, old Connor done got in some, again. He done got in something else. Now, the papers say alleged, but I don't believe those papers. I don't believe that. I believe that he did it. This man's a criminal. And now this man sexually assaults a woman outside of a pub. What a savage. What a savage. This man's a common criminal. This man is a thug. This man needs to be behind bars with all the rest of the criminals.
It wouldn't work if people didn't believe everything that is said about a person from authority and from the news. People get paid to lie. Accusations is all that it takes. Innocent people get convicted. Minimally, they are convicted in the court of public opinion because people don't stop and think about why these things happen and how the world really works. In extreme cases, the puppet or their loved ones will be eliminated. But this would only happen in extreme cases when all other measures have failed, whether they were a huge threat to the controllers or they had just served their purpose. We will never know. There have been many deaths of public figures and their loved ones over the years under suspicious circumstances. An example of an extreme case of a puppet being eliminated is Stanley Kubrick, who suddenly died before his last movie, Eyes Wide Shut, was ever released to the public. After showing that his conscience was conflicted years before when filming The Shining, to revealing secrets about secret societies in his movie, Eyes Wide Shut, he told too much, which led to his death. Prince was also defiant and outspoken, and finally, he supposedly died of an overdose under suspicious circumstances.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm a surprise, Kevin. They don't see me coming. That's what you're missing.
When the controllers decide to target you, there will be no announcement that it's going to happen. You will not see it coming. That's all I have for part 16. Everybody stay safe, be good to one another, and God bless.